It's time to Get Your Geek On with Dave Vermillion.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Sur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast off.
Your fortress of solitude.
Greetings, program.
Glad you're alive.
Your sanctum sanctorum.
Resistance is futile.
Welcome.
This is the first triumph. This is where the fun begins.
Proof positive that geeks have inherited the earth.
It's showtime.
It's time to Get Your Geek On
You complete me.
with Dave Vermillion.
Ah, yes. Welcome here. I am Dave Vermillion. This is Get Your Geek On, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road, near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. Here we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 930 AM The Answer Talk Radio and 930amtheanswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode 20. We are rapidly approaching the halfway mark for this particular season, and tonight we got a little bit of show news we want to talk about. The end of the calendar year is rapidly approaching, which means two things. One, college football is getting ready to end already, which sucks. It does. I'm sorry. I love college football. It's so much fun. And also, we start to look ahead to our goals for 2018 and what we want to get accomplished between now and then. There's some Star Trek news to talk about. There's not much going on, but I do want to keep the people informed as to what's going on with Discovery and Orville. And we have some Marvel news we want to get to, and some of it's good and some of it is, well, predicted. It's as expected. We have Inhumans news to talk about, as well as a possible villain sighting for the set of Captain Marvel. Also, I talk about geeks and the impact that we have had on world culture and world merchandising, but some of y'all might think I'm just kind of blowing smoke, that I'm not, I just say it because it sounds cool or whatever. I got some facts and figures to back that up to show that really the geeks have truly inherited the earth. And because this is Halloween weekend, with Halloween coming up here on Tuesday officially, we want to talk about some great horror moments and movies and Halloween moments and soundtracks and really get into the spirit of things here before we wrap up the show. But before we get that started, I have to make sure that I have everything I need in order to have the premier talk radio show for geeks across the United States. And the first thing you got to have is you got to have something to drink. That works. Thank you very much. I also like to have a back scratcher on hand because, when I'm interviewing people and you get that one spot in the middle of your back, that one spot you can never reach on your own. It's good to have this rather than just sit here and squirm in my chair for a while. And if you're going to have any type of a geeky show whatsoever, whether it's on talk radio or not, I think it's kind of mandatory that you have a lightsaber. And I have Old Blue here, my Hasbro lightsaber of many, many years, helping to keep those pesky Minox at bay. And we also happen to have our sonic screwdriver. So we are set and ready to go here. But I also want to make sure that I am decked out in geeky apparel, and I am wearing my Counter Logic Gaming red hat. That is the color of choice for the women's team. So I very much support any and all things geek women out there. So I am good to go. If you look to my left, your right, across the radio dial, you will see the man himself, the Grand Poobah Grand Admiral of the Star Wars Society of San Antonio. He is our minion, Peter Gonzalez.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? How are you doing, everyone?
Hey, minion. So what are you rocking there?
I am wearing my Deadpool Alamo Comic-Con t-shirt. And if you did see my pre-show, I had my Optimus Prime cap.
Excellent.
That I got from San Diego Comic-Con.
Very cool. And if you look further to our left, your right, across the radio dial, you will see the man spinning the ones and zeros, our sound prognosticator, and he is Goose.
Hello.
And Goose, what are you rocking there?
Well, I am wearing my t-shirt for 198.4 Blast FM, Crystal City's most listened to frequency. And this is a shirt I got off of riptapparel.com. That's RIPT apparel.com. And if you want a shirt just like this, you can go there and put in the promo code GYGO and get 10% off at checkout. That's RIPapparel.com. And the promo code is GYGO.
Excellent. All right, good. So we are all set and ready to go here. So let's dive into a little bit of show news before we get into the Marvel, Star Trek, and other news of the day. So our little Facebook page has really been chugging along. It was about a month and a half ago that Facebook, for still no explained reason, took our original Facebook page away. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to it. Honestly, have absolutely no idea what happened. I sent in a multitude of tickets and protests and requests for more information, and just nothing ever came of it. To this day, I have no idea what happened. And, yep, that's sadly pretty much what happened there. So our new Facebook page is now up to, as of Thursday, 8,430 likes. So what happens if we hit 10K? I wanted to do something a little special because that is a pretty special milestone for a Facebook page to hit 5 digits. And I thought we should do something really special if we can hit it before the end of the calendar year. So we have until 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, all right, right there to get 10,000 likes. If we can do that, here's what we'll do. Each one of us will do something, I guess we could call it rather special, rather humiliating. Your ever so gracious and humble and modest host, will take a pie to the face. And I don't mean, one of those little fruit pies or anything like that. I mean like an actual full-on banana cream pie right to the face. And I will do that on Facebook Live, and I will do that at PAX South. Outside, not inside. We'll do it outside, and we'll help clean it up afterwards. So that'll happen. Minion, if we hit 10K on Facebook before the end of the calendar year, what are you going to do?
Give it a lot of thought. And I will wear the Leia New Hope outfit complete with buns at PAX South.
For an entire day. There you go. The white Princess Leia A New Hope outfit complete with buns at PAX South.
You can touch my buns, by the way.
There we go. Oh, my goodness. And Goose, if we hit 10K before the end of the calendar year, you will do?
I will put a pie in your face. And we'll do it on Facebook Live that December 31st. I will wear My Little Pony shades at PAX South.
You will wear My Little Pony sunglasses for a day at PAX South.
You know what we could do?
That almost doesn't sound like enough, does it?
December 31st is on a Sunday.
Yes.
So we could just do a special Facebook Live leading to New Year's, and we could put your pie in the face right there.
We might.
We could do
if we get there. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because we hit 9,500 likes. No. We got to hit 10,000 before we initiate any of this.
And there are people who are probably clamoring, no, Peter needs to be the slave Leia. He doesn't have the legs for slave Leia.
Not really.
Yeah, he really doesn't pull that off. So
not really.
I don't know, Goose. I think we may need to think up something additional for that. I'm getting a pie. He's wearing an outfit. I think we need something a little more.
It's My Little Pony, though.
Yeah, but it's at PAX. That may almost be embraced. We'll think of something. We may think of something extra for Goose to do. So there you go. That's what happens. If you can help us get us to 10K, that will absolutely happen. Coming up this weekend, we are already at Rockula. We are already at Alamo City Comic-Con Halloween edition. So that is already going on. But coming up, we have a Wizard World in Austin. And we will be there. Kate Beckinsale will be there as well.
Kate Beckinsale.
There you go, Minion. Okay, all right there. And we will be there as well as a special guest of Wizard World. We've got our media passes set. We're good to go. We will be in Austin for Wizard World. And we'll bring you all sorts of pics, vids, and interviews if I can wrangle them, and so on and so forth from there. We had a little bit of a battle on Facebook, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, indeed. All right, so we put a post on there to see what the people thought of us and, what in general. Who do you vote for? Do you vote for Minion? Do you vote for Goose? Do you vote for me? Who would you vote for? Do we have a tally as far as that? Do we need to bring up that post? I'm not even sure where it is anymore.
One moment. Give me 1 moment. I will bring up that post here shortly.
Moment.
Now the FCC is going to get us if we go too long on music.
Okay, never mind. So we can't do.
Okay, they're going to start turning off the radio if we start singing, too loud there. So that's okay. We were at Zombie Walk also this weekend. Proud to say that we were able to swing by and say hello to Joseph Devine, who ran that. He's also out at the 502 bar.
So you
over
ready?
there on it's off of Bitters and it's Embassy Row. It's in that area back there.
So I found the post. I found what the results were as of 6:25 p.m. Thursday evening.
Okay,
There we go.
So what did
Ready?
we have on Thursday?
Okay, so Peter,
Yes.
33.
Hey.
Ooh, all right.
Dave, 37.
Oh, respectable.
Goose, 44.
For those of you who voted for me, the check is in the mail.
The cookies in the mail.
And
it?
cookies. You're getting paid in cookies.
So Goose won.
Pizza roll. Email me if you want a pizza roll.
Goose won.
Okay, all right. So
Yay.
Goose won that one. Yay, Goose. All right, so with that being said, I think we can now move on to get to our legitimate news portion of the evening. And we're going to kick it off by talking about some Star Trek news.
Yeah. If you see Klingons, better make sure that your face is out. And if you're in the fleet, rep your uniform, cause it's future chic. All the haters know, we got photon torpedoes. Throw the Vulcan up if you're not from Romulus, and stay with me now, live long and prosperous.
Just beat me up, Scotty. Just beat me up, Scotty. Just beat me up, Scotty.
All righty, this is brought to you by our friends over at Laser Legend. Goose and I were just out there over the weekend, and we played so many games of laser tag, including their latest game called Infection. And this is a fantastic game. Let me tell you about this really quickly here. Everybody goes into the arena, and the arena is dark. It is dark in there. It was impressively dark, and all of your lights on your vest, they're off. Except one person walks in with green lights. That person finds someone, shoots them. Now they have green lights. They've been infected. The two of y'all then roam the arena and shoot other people, and they become infected. And then you all go around finding that last person, that last holdout. Last one to hold out wins the game of Infection. Laser Legend is up on 1604 on the north side of San Antonio. You can find them off of Lookout Road near I-35. Longtime sponsor, proud sponsor of Get Your Geek On. And we love them right back. That's Laser Legend for you. All right, so Star Trek Discovery, it has been announced, will be renewed for a second season.
Woohoo!
I don't think there was a lot of doubt in there given how they were able to turn it around so quickly. There were so many naysayers and haters.
Just on this show.
Just on this show alone. And they were able to really turn it around. They got as many as people as possible to tune in on CBS All Access, which was good for them. And all in all, it's just really turned out well in most respects. They're still messing around with technology. They're still messing around with certain aspects of the show I personally don't agree with, but they are getting a second season.
This last episode was really good. It actually informed the rift between Spock and Sarek even more than what the show had already done.
And speaking of Spock and Sarek, Discovery producer Akiva Goldsman has confirmed that Discovery viewers will never see Spock on the show.
Good.
It will never happen. And I'm right
fine
on
with
board.
that.
Yes, thank you very much. This show needs to stand on its own. To me, one of the weaknesses of Rebels was every time, for Star Wars Rebels, was that every time they went to a different character that wasn't part of that era, I thought it dragged the show down. And they did that frequently. In the first season alone, like the third episode, you had Lando Calrissian. I'm like, really? You could have had an original character, but you brought in Lando, and they brought in Leia, and they brought in Ahsoka Tano, and they brought in Hondo, and they brought in just a multitude of characters that we'd already seen in previous shows and movies. But thankfully here, they're not making that mistake. There will be no Spock in Star Trek Discovery. But what about the Orville? There has not been any word officially about the Orville Season 2.
But it's also still relatively early. That may not even come out till closer to the upfronts in the spring.
It's possible. Now, CBS All Access is probably trying to instill a little bit of confidence, saying that we believe in this show, so we're giving it a second season. Seth MacFarlane has gone on record with both Digital Trends and ScreenRant.com reporting that he is confident the Orville will get a second season. We're on record as saying that we don't think the Orville will go beyond a second season. I think a second season for that show was inevitable as well because the production value on it was very high.
Oh yeah, it's a good show.
It
but
is
it's
a good
not
show.
Necessarily a great show.
It's still struggling to find itself.
Well, it's not breaking any ground. I mean, I will say Star Trek Discovery is going deeper into the mythos of Star Trek.
Indeed.
Which is great. And if y'all hadn't seen the last episode, I will give you a little bit of spoiler when we give you guys after the show tonight and let you know kind of what happened there.
Sounds good. Now, here's the kicker, though. Star Trek Discovery, called DSC, not that other acronym. Well, we'll say that off here. The second season won't happen until the early part of 2019.
What?
I know, right? It will not. It's not going to happen. It's going to be over 14 months until we see that again.
Why?
That's an excellent question. Shooting schedules, production, I don't know exactly what could have happened there, but for whatever reason, it has been announced, it was rumored, then announced and confirmed that we will not see Star Trek Discovery Season 2 for over a year.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. I wish I were kidding you.
Surely you must be joking.
We're not joking, but don't call me Shirley.
Okay, good enough.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so the first half will conclude on November 12th with the remaining 6 episodes returning weekly starting in January. And then after that, we'll see you in 2019. I mean, wow, no Discovery for over a year.
It's going to be a heck of a cliffhanger.
The Star Trek Discovery premiere does set a record for subscriber signups in a single day, week, and month for CBS All Access. Alrighty, so with that being said, that's the little bit of Star Trek news that we had available to us. We want to go ahead and we want to talk some Marvel news here, shall we?
This is that sequel to the smash hit with no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures. Flying, dining, saving you all.
Alrighty, this is brought to you by our friends over at Southtown Games. We've gone to Southtown Games, each one of us, several times now, and every time we go, we have such a terrific time. They really stand out in the knowledge of their staff, and that you can walk in, you can ask about a game, you can get curious, you can try things out there, and the staff is right there. You are not going to be intimidated. You are not going to be alone in trying out a game, and boy, do they have tournaments. They have tournaments galore. If you go to their Facebook page, which is southtowngamers.com, facebook.com/southtowngamers, there it is, you'll see under their events, they have a veritable cornucopia, a plethora, if you will, of tournaments, and just an incredible amount for so many different games. We love Southtown Games, and if you head down there on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side, we know you will as well. So the Inhumans' most recent episode got a 0.4 rating with adults 18 to 49, and a total viewership of about 2 million. This comes off of Deadline.com. Now, 2 million sounds like a lot of people. It really does. But when you consider the viewing audience on Friday night during that time, it's pitiful.
Well, when you consider it's on a broadcast network and not on a cable network.
It's sad.
It's just sad.
It really is. This pretty much seals the deal. I think it's pretty safe to call our shot. It's not going to be renewed for a second season.
No.
I would be very much surprised if it were. I mean, this show was panned from the beginning. The reviews months ahead of time when they showed it, there were some screenings that went on early on. Nobody liked this show.
I will say that I've been watching it every week. And Maximus is just getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
That's the big dog, right?
No, that's Lockjaw's great.
Oh, everybody loves Lockjaw.
Crystal's
okay.
fine.
I
Gorgon, I'm kind of Karnak, it's growing on me. But Maximus, I just want to hit him.
Yeah, and
it's not so much that I want to hit him because he's a good villain. Therefore, I hate him. He's just one note.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that this show is not written well. There's just not a lot you can hang your hat on with this show. And it shows. And I hate to say it, but we've talked about this before. Friday night is where shows go to die. And Inhumans never got a start. Now, according to Variety, which is as reputable a source as they come, unless you get your news on getyourgeekon.org, our very own website has a staff of writers that are cranking out the news. They're cranking out op-eds. They are cranking out news that you may not see anywhere else. And you can subscribe. If you go to our news area, you can put in your email address. We do not sell your email addresses. I swear on my Star Wars collection, we will not sell your email addresses. We will use them to get the news right to you. Ben Mendelson is currently in negotiations to play the lead villain in Captain Marvel. Now, who that would be hasn't exactly been revealed yet, although it's likely that this character will be the leader of the Skrulls. Not the Skulls, but the Skrulls, the shape-shifting aliens who have plagued the Marvel Comics universe, particularly the Fantastic Four, for about 5 decades. All right, so who's Ben Mendelson? Because you may not recognize the name off the bat, but you may recognize this name, Orson Krennic. Yes, he's the guy who choked on his aspirations in Rogue One. He was one of the villains in that particular film.
He is a very good villain because I went into, Rogue One with, let's see what's going to happen here. He was great, especially the one part where they blow up Scarif and you see the shockwave just going out. And he's looking at it like it's a piece of artwork saying, it's so beautiful. It's like, whoa.
And this guy, he reminds me a lot of Jason Isaacs, who's the captain of the USS Discovery, in that he plays a very good villain in just about everything he does. Ben Mendelson will also be the villain of Ready Player One, that movie coming out next year, I believe. The baddie's name in that one is Nolan Sorrento, and he was the Sheriff of Nottingham in a recent Robin Hood production as well. He was also Danny Rayburn in the Netflix original series called Bloodline. This guy plays villains, and he plays them well. Provided he doesn't choke on his aspirations, we should see him as the leader of the Skrulls in Captain Marvel, which is released March 8th, 2019. All right, so not in 2019. Thor Ragnarok is coming out like around the corner. It's next week. Am I miss that?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a 1 week from yesterday.
That's right. So Thor Ragnarok is coming out, and I want to do a giveaway for that. We do giveaways of the show all the time, but we haven't done this before.
Oh.
I want to do a box office prediction giveaway. So here's what I'll do. On Sunday morning, I will put up a post on our Facebook page in which you get to call your shot. The worldwide opening weekend box office gross for Thor Ragnarok. Whoever's closest will win our little Thor prize package. Don't worry, I'll post that up as well so everybody knows what the prize is. It's a one-time winner-take-all sort of thing. There's not a first, second, or third or anything. In the event of a tie, we will do the random number generator, and we'll flip a coin or something like that.
Price is Right rules or closest rules period?
Closest period.
Okay.
You don't have to go over if it's $200 million and you said $201 million, you're close. It's whoever's closest. So that will be Sunday morning on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGO radio. Goose.
Yes.
Call your shot.
For opening weekend?
Opening weekend, worldwide gross revenue.
$175 million.
$175 million. Wow, you think that highly of it?
I do.
All right.
It looks fun.
All right. So what you got?
I say 150.
Okay, that's pretty good also.
I think so because the first couple of Thor movies, not bad, but this one looks...
I don't know. The Dark World was not
good.
something to write home about.
It was not.
I fell asleep.
Although it made more money than the first Thor, but I think when people saw it, they were like,
But the promos for Ragnarok have been really fun.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go 135.
Oh.
I think 135 for the weekend is about where I'm gonna put it. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does really well. It's very rare on here that we hope a movie tanks.
Yeah. And again, Dave will be putting a post up on Sunday. That would be tomorrow for those listening as the show airs. And you can call your shot right there, and he will tell you all the rules, regulations, and what the price pack will be.
And not only that, but we're going to go see it on Friday night. We have tickets for the 5:30 showing at Alamo Drafthouse Park North here in San Antonio on San Pedro and Loop 410. That is our exclusive home for watching movies when we watch and do immediate reviews afterwards. We do them only at Alamo Drafthouse. We will not go anywhere else. Minion, you're going to be down for that, as I recall. Goose, you're going to be you're going to be man in the booth.
I'll be out of town
on Friday. I thought you were man in the booth.
I'll be here doing football on Friday, but then I'll be out of town on Saturday.
Okay, so we'll just have to tell you how awesome it is.
Yes.
Now, our reviews will be spoiler free. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details. Besides, it's already been spoiled, unfortunately. Australian TV took care of that. If you missed that, we talked about that last week, and you can find our archive at 930amtheanswer.com. You can listen to every one of our shows found there. You can also listen to it at soundcloud.com or on itunes.com as well. You just look for Get Your Geek On with Dave Vermillion.
And Stitcher, too.
And yeah, that's right. We are on Stitcher as well, so... I mean, there's a number of ways you can get listen to the podcast, listen to the archive there. Alrighty, so we got to take a break here for the bottom of the hour news, but we'll be right back here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer and 930amtheanswer.com. Alrighty, welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. I am Dave Vermillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, we talked some Marvel news. We talked about Ben Mendelson possibly joining the cast of Captain Marvel. We talked about how the Inhumans is absolutely tanking, as we predicted right here on this very show. We also talked some Star Trek news. Star Trek Discovery has been renewed officially for a second season, but you won't see it for 18 months. Ouch. We also talked about what we're going to do when our Facebook page hits 10,000 likes. I'll give you a little clue. It's all very self-deprecating and it's ever so slightly humiliating. So you can check all of that out on our archive, which you can find at 930amtheanswer.com. You can also find it on iTunes. You can also find it on soundcloud.com, and we are now on Stitcher as well. Look for Get Your Geek On with Dave Vermillion. That's Gremillion, in case people want to know how to spell my name, because nobody can ever get it right. Not even any of my teachers. Trust me, I'm used to that. Alrighty, so how geeky is the world today? At the beginning of every show, since the first episode, June of last year, I have always had the same tagline that geek is in. Geek is very in, and geek is the mainstream. And I'm not saying that because it's cool. I'm not saying it, to make people feel better about being a geek. It is the absolute truth. If you go down on the Riverwalk at any particular point in time, you will see somebody wearing a Deadpool t-shirt, a Captain America t-shirt, a Black Widow t-shirt or a hat or something. You will see geeky stuff everywhere.
Or a t-shirt from riptapparel.com. That's riptapparel.com. Use promo code GYGO and get 10% off.
Exactly. You'll see geeky cufflinks and ties and sneakers and Star Wars this and Star Trek that and Marvel and DC. It's everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere. And I wanted to point out just a few facts to kind of back this up as well. First of all, if you haven't been to Think Geek, either to the website or to the store, they were bought out by GameStop, and their revenue has just absolutely soared. Everybody loves buying geeky stuff. We give it away here all the time because it's just really cool to have. This year, 4 out of the top 7 highest grossing movies for 2017 are geeky. That's Wonder Woman, Guardians 2, Spider-Man, and Logan. And we still have Thor, Justice League, and Star Wars The Last Jedi coming. So I think it's pretty safe to say that 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 of the highest grossing movies of this year, the entire year, will be geeky related.
I have to say it's about time. I'm glad, because all those years of getting picked on as a kid, getting stuffed into lockers, yes, it's almost like a Revenge of the Nerd moment here.
Well, and look at all the quality superhero shows that are on television right now.
Exactly.
Not Inhumans, grant you,
right.
But the
Flash.
CW lineup. Fox has 2 shows. ABC has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. FX has Legion. Fox has The Gifted as well. So 3 shows, 3 actual shows. And the movies are doing great. I mean, back in the day, we were lucky to have 1 or 2 superhero shows on at any one time.
Mm-hmm. And they were mostly ridiculed.
And now
they,
you can't.
They were.
Now you can't keep up with them.
That's
Trust
right.
me, I'm trying to.
And we've already said how Marvel's going to have 14 shows coming out in 12 months.
Also, the other thing is how big Comic Cons have become.
They're huge.
Yeah,
They're massive everywhere you go.
Yeah, because the very first time I went to San Diego Comic Con, I remember sitting in the restaurant with some friends, and waitress comes up and says, "Where y'all from?" I'm like, San Antonio. I was like, "What are you here for?" I'm like, "I'm here for San Diego Comic Con." "Oh, I love Comic Con. I'm going Saturday." I'm like, "Really?" And this is huge business.
When I attended the Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim in 2015, I interviewed the first person in line to get in the night before, and they were there about 14 hours ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
The people who waited in line this year, in 2017, waited 24 plus hours in line.
Well, even in San Antonio this very weekend, we have two geeky conventions happening simultaneously.
Absolutely.
And one prior to that, we had the Ekman Toy Show.
The Ekman Toy Show the week before.
Now, look at this. Look at this. Now, over the past 10 years, going back to 2007, top grossing movies. 2007 was Spider-Man. 2008, Dark Knight. 2009, Avatar. 2010, Toy Story 3. 2011, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. 2012, The Avengers. 2013 was Catching Fire, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. 2014 was American Sniper. 2015, Force Awakens. 2016, Rogue One. And 2017 right now is Beauty and the Beast, which I personally don't count as geeky. You can geek out about Disney, but I just don't count it as geeky. But it's going to end up being The Last Jedi.
Or Justice League. It could be Justice League. That's unkind. That is just unkind. That's not nice at all.
We can dream, Goose. It's okay.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. So anyway, okay, I got to breathe for a second. Oh gracious. So their geeky movies have definitely made it at the box office. There's no question. In 2015, Star Wars merchandise outsold Jurassic World, Minions, and Avengers combined.
So y'all need to go watch this last episode of the Goldbergs on ABC. It was basically it was Star Wars versus Star Trek.
I can see that.
So
my coworker from ATT says, "Hail Hydra." George.
Oh my goodness.
In 2013, Spider-Man alone sold $1.3 billion in global retail sales. $1.3 billion. That's not the Avengers that came out in 2012. It's Spider-Man by himself. $1.3 billion. Esports will hit $1 billion in revenue in 2018. They just sold out Key Arena, and they have been known to sell out the Staples Center and Madison Square Garden for esports tournaments.
Speaking of, a couple of Overwatch teams got names this week.
Yes, they did. I'm curious to see what Houston will be named, but that's okay. We did get the San Francisco Shock, and we did get the Boston. I'm blanking.
Oops.
Something about an overthrow rivalry. Oh God, I'm blanking. Hold on.
Goose is on it.
GetYourGeekOn.org. Quick.
For those of you who are just tuning in, I want to say, hey, how's it going, Pedro? Who's also part of
Did you
Heroes of the Heart.
vote for him, by the way?
Yeah, well, hopefully you voted for me. So.
Did you vote for Pedro? Hello. Hey. Here it is. The Boston Uprising. That's what I was thinking of. The Boston Uprising. I can't believe I blanked on that one. Sorry about that. So get this about esports. Yeah.
Yes.
If you've been listening to the show for any particular point in time, you know we're big on esports here. The prize pool for Defense of the Ancients 2, the international tournament, which is their Super Bowl. This is for one game. Their prize pool in 2014 surpassed the prize pool for the Kentucky Derby, Tour de France, the Masters, and the Super Bowl.
Are you serious?
My goodness.
The prize pool was bigger than for all of those. In 2017, the winning team, consisting of 5 guys, took home $10.8 million.
I'm in the wrong line of work.
The total pool
you
was
what.
$24 million, and it was largely crowdfunded. It was
Wow.
largely crowdfunded. This is not, Red Bull and 5 Hour Energy and HEB, USAA, Bank of America putting up these numbers. It's crowdfunding. People want this.
If the Dota Tool International Tournament is looking to sponsor a show, we are the show for you.
We are just saying.
Email Dave the host at getyourgeekon.org.
So I don't think there's any question. We have made a tremendous impact on the world at large. You can't swing a dead cat without seeing somebody wearing something geeky.
Why are you swinging a dead cat, Dave?
It's Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, it's a black cat.
It's Halloween.
All right, good.
It's,
Just making
it's
sure.
what you do. It's the hip and trendy thing nowadays.
Okay, along with Taco Donna.
Along with Taco Donna. So, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not. Like I said just a little while ago, Marvel has 14 shows coming out in the next 12 months. Well, if you include The Gifted, which is already out, and Inhumans, which is also already out. The DCEU is just getting started. Marvel is we're in phase 3 for Marvel now, and the DCEU is just getting started. Star Wars, don't even get me started. Episode 8 is out this year, Han Solo movie, the Kenobi story, the Episode 9, and then all the standalones are going to do beyond that. Plus, I firmly believe 10, 11, and 12 are going to come with the new trilogy of John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and Poe
Dameron.
Poe Dameron, thank you, will be the next trio of characters that they're going to feature. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. The Geeky group is here to stay, and we have staked a claim in the world, and it's big. So y'all should be very proud to call yourselves geeks. I know I am. So, that's always good. Plus, I hear they're even getting into talk radio now.
Yes.
There's now a geeky show in talk radio itself, which talk radio has been known for politics and sports primarily. You think Jim Rome and Rush Limbaugh, you don't think geeks, but now they're getting into talk radio. Can you believe that?
And you can find that. Where can they find that? Well,
I don't know. We have to look that up, don't we?
Yeah. Get your something on.
No, I don't even. Who can trap any anymore? Gracious. Okay, so just be proud of what you are and be proud of the impact that you've made here on society. That being said, I want to point out something as well, and that's what we have going on here for Pro Defense Pest Control. Pro Defense Pest Control has been my pest company since even before I had the show. They're locally owned and operated right here in San Antonio. They use organic compounds so that it's safe for children, it's safe for pets. They install misting systems to get rid of those pesky mosquitoes. I know the weather's turned cold.
Sort of.
But trust me, those mosquitoes will be back, and all those little creepy critters and whatnot are going to want to come into your house, all those scorpions and roaches and termites. Keep them at bay with Pro Defense Pest Control. All right, so it is the spookiest time of the year. Halloween is officially upon us. It's really just a couple of days away.
Right.
It's Tuesday is the official day, which my wife just adores because that means she has to deal with sugared up 5-year-olds for the next few days. But I thought this would be a great time for us to talk about our favorite Halloween or horror moments, movies, soundtracks, etc. And I want to start this off by talking. It's kind of funny how we have arrived at this, but you can't really talk Halloween without talking about The Great Pumpkin. The Peanuts comic in which Linus believes in the Great Pumpkin. It comes on every year on ABC, along with the Christmas special later on in the year. But everybody loves that. I mean, you watch it, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
You watch Goose?
It's tradition.
Well, why? Why do we? What is the best part about this movie that you love so much?
Well, from The Great Pumpkin?
Yeah.
Oh, just everything. It's the Peanuts characters. And plus, Snoopy fighting the Red Baron and going behind the lines. And of course, Charlie Brown's ghost costume.
Yes. I was going to say his ghost costume may be my favorite thing because when you're a kid, you're always worried about how your costume's going to look. And it's always nice to see that he messed up his costume so bad. Just so bad. They always made me feel a little bit better in case my costume fell apart, halfway down the street or
Right.
something. The Red Baron part, it always scared me a little bit when I was a kid because they use those dark colors, purples and reds and the explosions and everything. And you're like, is this really happening? Is he really being shot at?
I thought that part was exciting.
Well, it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but I don't know, when you're just real little, it's just, yeah. And then, of course, Linus and his eternal devotion to the Great Pumpkin.
Oh,
and he's
that's
still
awesome.
waiting.
And he's still waiting to this very day. You can hear him crying out across the moor. Where's the pumpkin? I also like the scary stories.
Yes.
They're so cliche by now. You know, the call's coming from inside the house. Ah,
Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman.
Oh.
that's a
Sleepy
good
Hollow
one.
was
That's a good one.
Because I was kind of like coming up with, trying to come up with like a list of like scary movies, and I was like, okay, I can't come up with just one.
Well, it's funny because to be honest, I'm not that big of a horror guy. I'll watch them, but they're just kind of cliche at this point.
Depending on which, because a lot of stuff is kind of reinvented itself. I think the horror genre reinvented itself.
Well, the era of true great slasher flicks had to be late 70s to mid 80s.
Yes, definitely.
That was when you had some of the best movies coming out. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, The Exorcist, Prom Night, House and Sorority Row. I keep forgetting the
Isn't that when Chucky came out too?
Chucky,
Child's Play.
yeah, the first Child's Play
Yeah.
was out then. What's the one about the haunted house up in New England? You Get Out.
Oh, Amityville Horror.
Amityville Horror was back then also. You had some really
Oh, I
great
love what
horror
people are
movies.
coming up with it. What they're talking out in the chat.
Ooh,
The
yes.
Conjuring.
Yes, we have
Fright Night.
we have a chat going here on our Facebook page,
Cemetery.
facebook.com/GYGO radio. Pet Cemetery is a really, really great one also. I like that one. But that was really the golden age for horror movies. Now, you can talk about the Hammer horror films all you want.
Oh, yeah.
The great ones with Christopher Lee as Dracula and Boris Karloff. And those were some great movies as well. But if you want to talk slasher flicks, those were monster movies. The slasher flicks really came to be at their strongest, at their peak,
In the
late
80s.
70s.
Late 70s and early 80s with-
to mid 80s,
Yes.
I would say.
Yeah,
They tried
pretty
to
much.
have a comeback like around 2010 or so. You know, they made like Jason X and Freddy versus Jason. And Saw did okay in bringing back the horror genre. But man, it just...
I will say,
Yeah.
I heard New Nightmare was actually really good.
Which one's the new Nightmare?
The basically the new Nightmare on Elm Street when they kind of
Oh, really?
rebooted it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
With Jackie Earle Haley?
I don't do those kind of movies just as a personal preference, but I heard that was really good.
Also, we want to talk about these reboots that are happening all over the place. There are some movies that just should not ever be remade. And then there are some that, I'm okay with remaking these slasher flicks if they can be original. Joss Whedon once did a horror movie,
The Cabin in the Woods.
The Cabin in the Woods. And that was awesome because it had that epic Joss Whedon. It actually made fun of all the tropes in a horror movie, only to find out that twist at the end, I'm not going to spoil it, twist at the end was just awesome. It was so hilariously awesome. It was pure Joss Whedon. When Saw came around, Saw did a pretty good job in bringing back horror pictures. I know you can call it, a torture film or whatever, but for me, it still falls under the scope of horror films. But then everything changed when Paranormal Activity came out. The Blair Witch Project started
Yes.
kind of that point of view
The
horror
reality
film.
type
Yeah, the
thing.
reality horror.
I thought the concept of that was brilliant because you're like, is this real or not?
Paranormal Activity
Yeah.
did a fantastic job. It was such a low budget film. I think the budget was less than $100,000 for that movie, but they did such a fantastic job making it feel really just. I mean, oh man, when the Ouija board caught on fire. Okay, the lady got
yeah.
dragged out of the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really creepy.
There's an Exorcist TV show on right now.
I was not aware of that.
Exorcist
yeah,
the
I
Next
think I heard
Chapter, I
about
think is
that.
what it is.
So let's go around our favorite horror movie. Speaking of The Exorcist, because that's mine.
Yeah.
That is the one movie that truly creeps me out down to my bones. I will watch Friday the 13th and be like, oh man, there's the pitchfork and machete. I'll watch Nightmare on Elm Street and be like, oh man, Freddy is sucking that guy into the waterbed. Ah. But The Exorcist really gets to me.
Okay.
That movie's creepy.
Yeah. Oh.
Minion.
I actually had a small list, and a couple of my favorites are from John Carpenter. Of course, the original Halloween, of course. But there was a little known one he did called Prince of Darkness. That was creepy. That just, because I remember at the time, a whole bunch of us went when they used to do midnight movies, and that movie just scared the crap out of me. And the first one I actually saw in the theater, Poltergeist.
Oh yeah,
That it was just just blew my mind.
that was a good one.
Okay, another one from John Carpenter, The Thing.
That's a good one.
Okay, the original Night of the Living Dead.
That's good call. Good zombie movie.
And The Omen.
Oh yeah. Now the original Omen, not the
Yes.
remake, but
No,
the
no,
original one. Yeah, that was good too. Goose.
Yeah, I did see the remake of The Omen. It was actually pretty all right. Now, since I don't do the horror genre by just as a rule for me, I will say watching Star Trek V was a horror. to
Oh
me.
God. Oh. Yeah, I think the fan dance was a truly horrifying moment.
Yes, it was. It was scary.
Or when that cat alien jumped onto Shatner and almost broke his girdle.
Gosh, that was not good.
Wow. And row your boat was
That was
particularly horrifying.
Yeah, okay.
That was scary.
All right.
But do you have a favorite horror movie that really gets to you?
Really, I watched Freddy vs. Jason, like the edited version, and that one did get to me a little bit. Freddy vs. Jason.
Freddy vs. Jason?
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Let's go through the chat here a little bit because the chat's been buzzing here. Brian Donahoe says the master of horror for our generation is Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I would say that. He redid Halloween.
I can go along with that. I can definitely go along with that. Let's see, Hostel. Kaylee Cheyenne says Hostel. That was okay. It didn't get to me as much. What about Silent Hill?
I never saw Silent Hill, but I heard it was all right.
House on Haunted Hill. No.
I think the original
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. Oh, that one was good only because of the little kid who played Isaac. I think it was Isaac. Just the little kid that was leading them all. He was actually an adult. He had that disease that made him look much younger than he really was.
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. There you go. That's
that was one of Sam Raimi's first ones, wasn't it?
It was. That one, Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness.
Oh, also up over here was Salem's Lot, the miniseries, the TV series.
I never saw that one.
It's good.
Now, it's not horror, but it has to do with creepy things. Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Yeah, I would not classify that as horror, but it does deal with elements of the paranormal, so I would go along with that. Stephen King novels are scary as HE double hockey sticks. All right, that will absolutely terrify you. The TV miniseries, not so much.
No.
There is nothing scary at all about the Langoliers, Tommy Knockers. Even It was... I mean, there's just, you can't do much with scary in a TV show about a balloon that just pops in front of you, and you're supposed to be scared by that. Like, okay. Like, the clown will get really close to him, right? The clown's getting really close. And then the kids run away, and the clown's like, whatever. I'll scare you next time, I guess.
One I think that's definitely ranks up there for me, and it's neither TV or movie, but radio, and that was the 1938 radio broadcast of War of the Worlds.
Yes.
And if you can find it on YouTube, but if not, if you have it on just look it up on YouTube. You listen to it and you can understand why. And the funny thing is, I had a professor, and he said his mother was a radio operator in St. Louis when that happened.
Oh, no.
It was a quiet Sunday night. Next thing you know, the switchboards are lighting up.
Oh, my God. I can only imagine.
Listen to it. If you get a chance, look it up on YouTube, and you can see why.
One of the movies that I think is both overrated and underrated at the same time, this movie, I want to love it and I want to hate it. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes. It was...
Lawnmower Man. That's good.
I don't remember that one.
That was...
Is that the one?
See that one.
Is that the one with the virtual reality?
Yeah.
Oh, that one? Yeah, okay. I think I kind of remember that one. But the Bram Stoker Dracula... Keanu Reeves' accent is so bad. It's like Dick Van Dyke, Mary Poppins bad.
Yeah, because you can take them serious.
It really is.
Don't be dogging Mary Poppins.
And I'm not just Dick Van Dyke. And Keanu Reeves' accent really takes me out of the moment.
Yeah.
Every time he does that voiceover, that narration, I want to change the channel. But then you come back, and Gary Oldman is fantastic. He makes that movie. Absolutely. Winona Ryder is actually really good in that movie
and Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins is
Van
in
Helsing.
that. Carrie Elwes is in that one. They're all fantastic. The effects are great. It's Francis Ford Coppola at his best. The effects are terrifying. That's a great horror movie. And then Keanu Reeves opened his mouth, and I'm like, dude, just shut up.
Oh, there's another one here. Of course, everybody, when they talk about werewolves.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes does not count as horror. I'm sorry.
An American Werewolf in London, but before that, of course, the effects in there, but came out right before The Howling, which is about werewolves, and that was great. The makeup effects were good.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, but also on that same list, little-known movie, Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder, that's a good one.
That was creepy.
And this is one of those you can classify as, it's not creepy, but it's classic Halloween and also classic Christmas. The Nightmare Before Christmas. That one is worth watching pretty much throughout the Halloween season, throughout the Christmas season. The music's timeless. The sets are wonderful. The animation is just brilliant, just absolutely incredible. And I really got a kick out of that one. What else do we have here?
How much time do we have?
About a minute.
A great book, if you could find it at your local library or just look it up on Amazon, Ghost Stories of Texas by Ed Sires. This got me into Texas lore and Texas ghost stories.
Speaking of which, Minion, don't you do a ghost tour?
I still do my ghost tours. I actually have one coming up. And
San Antonio.
Yes, I do. And I actually caught a lot of paranormal stuff, actual pictures.
Give us a brief tale, because again, we got about 30 seconds here.
Oh, God, there was just, a place or something like that?
Give us a spooky story that happened.
Oh, my God. There was one at downtown post office when I was looking around in there, and when we were trying to find something, and we asked, is anybody here? And out of the disembodied voice came out and said, "Get out." And we did.
You actually heard, you heard the
disembodied voice that said, "Get out."
Oh,
that was
man.
It. We're out.
All righty. Well, speaking of outs, that'll wrap it up here. If you want to tweet at us, you can find us at GYGO Official. We want to hear your scariest movie of all time. Shoot me an email at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, for Minion, and for myself, I do want to thank our sponsors, Southtown Games, Laser Legend, The Mailing Spot, and Pro Defense Pest Control. Be excellent to each other and make sure to get your geek on every single day.